Hello chess friends and welcome to Jozarov chess channel and welcome to an incredible game that has been played yesterday in the Chesskid quarterfinal stage that you can follow now on chess.com. We have here really an incredible, beautiful, sharp tactical battle between Hikaru Nakamura and Jorden from Foreest. So usually we used to see Hikaru Nakamura pulling off some immortal tactics. Many times Hikaru sacrifices the queen, pulls off basically the impossible tactic, but now we have really a reverse role here. Jorden from Foreest will sacrifice the queen against Hikaru Nakamura, and let's see now how Hikaru can maybe play defensively. In my opinion, really one of the best games that I've seen this year. So let's see now what happened, and then in the end I'm going to reveal the result of their match because they had to play 4 rapid games. So let's see now what happened in one of their games. So here Hikaru Nakamura opened with the move knight to f3. Jorden from Foreest played d5. We have d4, knight to f6, and after move bishop to f4 we have the London system, the most annoying opening of all times, of course. So we have here c5, which is of course a good way to break and enter immediately here in the position. Then also in some lines queen to b6, continue the pressure against the pawn on d4, but also against the weakness on b2. So e3, e6, we have knight from b2 d2, and now queen to b6. Here Hikaru get challenged by Jorden van Foreest's move. We have now this attack against both of these weaknesses. So in the game Hikaru protects now the pawn with rook to b1, and now Jorden simply undermines the pressure. C takes d4, e takes d4, and now bishop to d7. And this line I really liked by Jorden van Foreest because notice in the London system, when you play the move e6 and when you play similar structures like this, your light square bishop is a little bit paralyzed by its own pawn structure. It's not a good piece. On the other hand, a white's light square bishop will come maybe to d3, and it will have a flexibility to attack the queen side, to attack the king side. So that's why here in the next couple of moves you see Jorden played, I think, an interesting idea to simplify the game by trading off the bad piece for a good piece of Hikaru Nakamura's. I think it's a good choice to get rid of this annoying bishop on e2. As we said, on d3 it would be also perfectly fine. So far, nice positional trades of pieces here by Jorden van Foreest. Kingside casting, bishop to e2, queen to e2, knight to c6, normal development, and now c3. Usually white fixes the structure like this on the queen side, but the downside is that you have now a structural weakness. It's a weak square here on c4, so usually black tries to occupy the weakness then in the next couple of moves. So bishop to e7, knight to e1, with the preparation to reroute the knight maybe here to d3, then to control further the c5 square, but also here the e5 square. This I think are also the weaknesses in black's position, c5, e5. On the other hand, c4 I think, as we said, is a positional disadvantage in white's position. So kingside casting, knight to d3, a5, a4. Hikaru blocks, of course, the potential progress here on the queen side, but of course this leaves the c4 weak, but also now we have another weakness. It's also now the weak square on b3. So these are the obvious targets now for black. Where should actually black attack now white's position? So in the game, queen to a6, good move here also by Jorden van Foreest, pinning the knight to the queen on d3 here. Rook from f to e1, connecting everything, keeping everything compact. Now the queen is protected, so maybe then the knight can play much more freely. Rook from f to e8, we have h3, creating breathing spaces for the bishop. If the bishop gets challenged, maybe with some ideas of knight to h5, then you can still play bishop to h2 and stay on this beautiful long diagonal. Knight to d6, knight to d7. This is a good move, also by Jorden. As we said, he is rerouting the pieces to get an activity here around the square c4. Knight to f1, we have this idea, knight to b6, attacking also the pawn on a4, but also attacking the weak square on c4. Rook from rook to a1, protecting now the pawn on a4, and now knight to c4 anyway. b3, played by Hikaru. It is, of course, an idea to kick away the knight from c4. You don't want to tolerate, of course, the knight, but we have to say it. After move knight to b6 that Jorden van Foreest now played, we have now another weakness in the position. Now we have sort of a backward pawn on c3, but also on b3. Now when the rook comes on the c file, I think the c3 pawn becomes an obvious target now for black. So in the game, knight to g3 played by Hikaru, knight to d7. Jorden is now searching for different opportunities, maybe in the later stage, if possible, also to break and enter here with the move e5. Rook from e to d1, we have a g6, keeping all of the pawns on light squares, which is a good choice. When you have a dark square bishop, then of course the pawns belong on light squares. So in the game, bishop to e3, bishop to d6, preparing now the move e5, and now Hikaru probably annoyed by the possibility of the e5 breakthrough, he played now a positional mistake. I think he played now the move bishop, pardon me, f4, which is of course preventing the move e5, but it blocks out now your dark bishop on e3. This dark bishop is not a good piece anymore. It's simply a part of the pawn chain. It's like a big pawn, like we always like to say. It's suddenly not a good piece anymore. When the pawn was on f2 or on f3, still at least it had some kind of activity. So here f4, and from this point on I think black is even slightly better. Knight to f6. Now you see you have solved maybe one positional problem, but now you get another, because now the e4 square is an obvious target now. So Jorden van Foreest, I think, doesn't have immediately here a winning game or something, but he provoked many weaknesses. c3, b3, e4 is weak, c4 weak. So many things can happen, I think, but only in black's favor. I think from this point on, I think Hikaru Nakamura is just defending the position. Bishop to f2, rook to c8, as we said, targeting the c3 weakness. Rook from a to c1, knight to e7. Also a very nice positional move by Jorden. He wants to get the knight on f5. If something like knight takes f5 happens, then he can also play maybe g takes f5 or e takes f5, and then cement the beautiful square e4. So if you could just imagine, if there's a pawn on f5 and then also on d5, then when we cement the position around the square e4, I think this position attack would be unstoppable here for white. So that's why here Hikaru breaks the positional light squares. He's not satisfied with the possibility that actually black could take over around the square e4, tries to undermine the light square pawn chain here in the center of the board. We have d takes c4, which was maybe even the first really mistake here by Jorden van Foreest. I think he doesn't have to play that. He can maybe play a calm move b6, and if even something like c takes d5 happens, then we can still take and look at this. Nothing has changed, I think, in the position. We can also take out with the knight, leaving here white with an isolated d pawn. So in my opinion, every trade of pawns is not favorable here for white. So that's why this move d takes c4 was a little bit rushed, although now the c4 pawn is a weakness. But Jorden van Foreest continues with his plan. He plays now knight to f5. If knight to f5 happens, then g takes f5, and then he could jump with the knight on this beautiful e4 square. So still he tried to get his main goal that he started in the beginning. So knight to f1 by Hikaru. He doesn't play now actively. He's trying to reroute the knights on better squares, and now comes the critical moment of the game. Pay good attention how Jorden pulled off now an impossible, immortal tactic, a beautiful queen sacrifice. He played now first of all the move rook to c4, and Hikaru probably wanted to trick Jorden van Foreest with this move, knight to c5. It's of course an attack against the queen, and now suddenly the rook is attacked twice by the queen and also by the rook. But Jorden played now a beautiful, stunning rook takes c5. Very wild stuff. Of course, Hikaru has to now trade off the queens, but now comes the stunning idea. Rook takes c1. Jorden sacrifices the queen. Of course, he gets some material for it. He gets a minor piece and the rook, because the queen has to now drop back. And here Jorden van Foreest connects now the rook on a c file. And from this point on, it's becoming really an epic tactical battle between these two top grandmasters. Here Hikaru immediately doesn't react correctly. G3, not a good move, weakens the structure in front of the king, but also is allowing here Jorden van Foreest to drop back with the rook. A better idea here for Hikaru would have been simply to undermine a little bit black's activity on the c file, because we have to say it, the only strength, although this was a monstrous tactic that Jorden van Foreest played, but the only advantage that he actually has is the c file attack. So that's why I think Hikaru allowed him here to keep to be active, to still on the c file. So after move rook to c3, the queen drops back, and now look at this with the move h5 that Jorden played, and with the preparation to play the move h4. Look at this, he will eventually dismantle the whole pawn structure in front of the king. So not a good game here for Hikaru anymore. So, okay, Jorden lost a pawn, but it doesn't matter. That's what I really loved about this game by Jorden van Foreest. He never calculated material here. He just wanted to be active, to be aggressive, and I think if you want to win a game against the top grandmaster and one of the best players in chess history, Hikaru Nakamura, you have to be aggressive. You have to be a monster. You have to challenge him. You have to push him to the limits here. That's exactly what Jorden van Foreest is doing here. He plays very very active chess, improves the minor pieces, improves the pieces, gets pawn activities, gets the open files, open ranks. So in my opinion, great tactical game by Jorden. So bishop to e1, here we have rook to c2, so Hikaru is still active with his rooks on the c file. Bishop to a5, you see Jorden doesn't count here. Nothing can happen on the queen side. He is on the attacking side, on the king side. The king is naked here. Many pieces are dancing here around the white king. Black rooks will come into the game, so it's not a good position for sure here for Hikaru. Bishop to e1, maybe slightly better here to pass through with the move g4, keeping some kind of a healthy pawn structure, but still knight to g3 is going to happen. Look at this. If you take, then the pawn takes, and f4 is weak. Rook will come into the game. Again, nothing dramatically changed still, of course. Black should be much better. But after bishop to e1, we have h takes g3 by Jorden, knight to g3, knight to h4 with the preparation to jump with the knight on f3. We have bishop to f2, and now knight to f4. Look at this, both knights very active. Knight on f3 will come, knight on h3 will come. So it's obviously a messed up game for Hikaru. So sorry. So we have reached now this position, as we said, knight to f4. We have knight to e4 by Hikaru Nakamura, and here knight to f3. Although knight to h3 is maybe slightly better, it comes with a direct threat, with a check, of course, but knight to f3 also keeps an advantage here for Jorden van Foreest. So king to h1, knight to h3. You see the knights are dancing here in front of white's king. There's simply no pawn in front of white's king anymore. All of the pieces very active here, so it's simply a one-way ticket here. So in the game, rook to f1, keeping the bishop on f2 unprotected because the knight was attacking, of course, here the bishop on d6, but was also connected to the bishop on f2. So here Hikaru tries to defend the position like this. And now Jorden almost got Hikaru Nakamura back into the game. Now he makes a huge blunder here with the move king to g7. A better choice was simply here to play even rooks to c3, simply allowing here, of course, maybe even Hikaru Nakamura to take. But now look at this, knight to f2 is going to happen. You're getting destroyed. You don't have so many squares. You have to give up here the exchange, and now in some lines there is even a checkmate threat. You cannot protect it. You have to play even queen to f3, rook to f3. And the game would be over here for sure. But after move king to g7, what actually Hikaru could have done is maybe here the move king to g2. There is now the threat of rook to b8. It's still a much better position for black, but actually here the king is finally out of this mess. Maybe the king get on the third rank and get out of the attack. But after move king to g7 that Jorden van Foreest played, now Hikaru makes a huge blunder. He takes out now here the bishop on d6. It's of course not working because now comes again the similar idea, knight to f2, king to g2. We have now knight to e4, a discovered check. We have king to f3, but now we have knight takes d6. Look how Jorden calculated this in a beautiful way, and now the king is cut off. The king can never come again to the second rank. The king is messed up, and now this other rook will come on the third rank, and with the support of the knight and with the support of these three pawns, there are even many checkmate patterns that come to my mind. So basically from this point on, I think Jorden van Foreest is building a mating net around Hikaru's king, because the king is naked, although the rook is protecting, but the queen is far away from the action. And the cool part is that the move knight to d6 of course comes also with the direct threat against the queen, so Hikaru loses another tempo. Jorden gets back into the game, and now look at this with the move f6. The king is cut off from every rank now. Now we have to deliver just a very nice check, and I think white's king could be checkmated very easily. We have now rook to g1, maybe rook to f3, slightly better to force the trades of pieces, but g5 is still good here. Look at this, f5 is possible, rook to g2 is possible. So in this line, rook to h3, we can even play rook to c2, so it's still winning position here for Jorden. So after move rook to g1 was played, now we have a rook to f2, king to g4, f5, king to h4 in this position. Hikaru Nakamura resigned because of course we can deliver a couple of checks. The knight can come into the game. Look at this, king on f4 will happen. Now we deliver another check, and here it's even a beautiful stunning checkmate. Really wild stuff. how Jorden sacrificed the queen. Hikaru never got back into the game. Jorden really outplayed him in a tactical way, which is a rare case. Hikaru is a tactical monster, really tactical beast. But congratulations to Jorden, he played an awesome game. And also, what's very important, he kicked out Hikaru Nakamura from the quarterfinal stage. Hikaru will continue in their losers continuation now. Jorden van Foreest is playing the winning semifinal, so it's a little bit different concept, but I really wanted to show you this game. In my opinion, really one of the best games this year. So okay, I hope that you enjoyed this game. I really enjoyed it a lot. Interesting ideas of the London system for sure. If you want to see more about the London system from White's and from Black's perspective, please check out our coverage here on my YouTube chess channel, London System series that I've prepared here for you. And if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you soon with some more videos, and what to say, chess is the best, of course.